What's going on, guys? It's Elon from Inside Fighting here with another dynamic duo video. Sifu Milos. I've been injured for a while. You guys know this. I'm having surgery come up, and Milos came by to hang out, and I'm going to show some stuff. I've been using this cane for a while now, and I'm going to show you guys some cool stuff on how it's one of the best weapons ever.
I just came here to hang out, and he jumped up, I jumped up, and this was the moment I know and he knows we have to do something.
Yeah. He attacked me.
Pow, pow. Inside fighting, yeah. Dangerous martial arts. Pow, pow. Ooh, ah.
So one thing I've noticed that's great about this, my dog's toys are everywhere. So with canes, right? This is like not really a cane, this is clearly a weapon, but I'm using it as a cane. The nice thing is at range, if I do have an indication that someone is going to come at me aggressively, this is already the first attack, right to the groin, right to here, right up to the face. It's a great range keeper. In other words, like I could just stop him from getting close, and there's no actual deployment of the weapon. In other words, I don't need to take something out of my pocket. I don't need to draw a gun. It's already in my hand. It's already here. It's already in the knee. Okay, now the nice thing is from here, if he gets past that, it's also a two-handed weapon. This is a ball tip right there, right through the face, right into the solar plexus. I can hit with the other end of it. I can drop to the knees. So if you look, I can attack with both sides from numerous angles, which is really nice. If he gets closer than that, it becomes this would be right to the face, but it becomes a very powerful clinch weapon. You feel that pressure there?
Oh, of course.
Look at this, I could choke him right here, you feel that? Right, I can use this all types of ways. I can turn it right here, I can choke him right here. If it ends up that he grabs me and he's under my arm, I can use it as a clinching tool right there. I can place it into his ribs and drive right over here. I can use it for takedowns. It becomes a really nice weapon.
Experience I get here is, first of all, you cannot read the angle he changes in advance when he hits me. And when he gets me into these chokes or bars, whatever it is, it's immediately hurting. Even this, before he gets me down, my knee gets torn. So all of this hurts before it even shows the impact of efficiency.
Yeah, well, one thing I really love about it, because of the Filipino martial arts, it's a two-handed weapon, right? I can generate a ton of power here. I can also whip. I can whip around. But it's also...
And even with a double guard, it's not going to help.
No, that's going to come right through. And if you look at the length of the tool, even if he's guarding, it's coming around the back and smashing his neck. And then it's coming right back, right into the ribs, then right into the knee. Then if I want to change to my left-hand lead, it's coming across here. Then I can use it again as we get close into clinching, into controlling him here. And that's the end. He's done right there. So it's and another thing, if you do somehow get an arm, or you grab something, this is still a one-handed weapon. Bam, I'm smashing him on the head here. I'm turning him, smashing down here. He grabs there, I could still be smashing into his spine right here. I'm driving him down. So it's just an overwhelmingly powerful weapon that gives you all three ranges of fighting: far, medium, clinch, and even ground fighting. And it's two-handed to one-handed. You don't know how to read which hand it's gonna be in even, because I could be fighting here and then it's already back in my left. Then it's two-handed.
Yeah.
Then it's butting weapon, then it's on the other side. And if he grabs, it opens up all types of controls also to control him down to the ground. Immediately, like if you train with it that way, that grabbing it can actually sometimes create more opportunity here for takedowns, for butting him with the head, for clinching it up here, clearing the arm here, bringing him down. Sorry.
Yeah, that's fine.
So it's a very, very powerful tool.
Oh no!
That was awesome.
I tell you, the experience, what might look so easy, or that you can do something, no, you cannot do anything. The worst thing is the changing of the angles that you cannot anticipate. When you get hit the first time, when he stopped me here,
with the butt, like bam.
Boom, whatever I was expecting this one.
Yeah. And even if you do try and throw a punch here, it's hitting your hand.
Yeah, of course.
Even your hand is a great target here, like bam.
Yep.
I always say a weapon like this is sometimes amazing against a knife.
Yep.
Because a knife will be this long. As long as I can, this is already, you're gonna be very scared here to, if that's the hand that has a knife and I'm constantly swinging at it and breaking it, it's very hard for you to close that gap. People don't realize how much this hurts.
If you don't believe it by yourself or come here, try to experience it. This is gonna hurt a lot. This is gonna hurt a lot.
All right, guys, so we're gonna show just kind of a cool drill that Milos wanted to do. He was like, you know what if I try and do like different things and you experiment with them? I don't know what he's gonna do. I'm probably gonna screw up a lot, but I feel like this is a very cool tool. And obviously at range, it's very easy for me to have the advantage, but as he comes closer and we get to like these kind of positions, this is where things get very interesting and you really do have to kind of adapt. And this is, I think, part of how martial arts are expanded upon, is people just go into these different positions and try them out.
So what I really like to explore now is we all have these what ifs, what if questions, what if, because a lot of people, I understand, might not believe that you can keep someone in the range with that. It doesn't matter what we say, how much it hurts, people think or like to know better. So one what if is, he's standing like this. We have this conversation and I grab you here because I'm the aggressor.
Yeah. So right away, my instinct from here is I have this hand free also. So I'm gonna right away, this is gonna come up and try, I'm gonna drive it into your face or into your groin. So I'm right away treating it as a striking tool, see? So, and I'm worried about that. But the second I drop,
It's fine, it's fine. Yep.
I feel like this is now, even if you throw that, it's still a barrier.
Yes,
here.
And it hurts.
Yeah, and so I'm, now if I can get it over top, if I can come like a slice over top, hit your face, I'm gonna use it, remember I showed this?
Yeah.
I'm gonna take it, I'm gonna drive it into the bicep. This is already a hit here, but I'm gonna drive it into the bicep, grind down, pinch, and just walk you to the ground. You feel that? At any point here when you're down again, I could just continue the motion, throw you into the ground with it, bam. So my first and main concern here, because my hand is down balancing, is to protect against that, because that's really realistically what's coming. That's why I said this first hand is important, because if you go to punch with that, this is already kind of keeping that hand away. And then this is already my strike here if I can get it over top. And then again, you're going flying.
Yeah.
This really hurts. Now, the reason people do this wrong, and I'll show it empty hand too, it's a good kind of, is number one, they just place it. Here he's still strong. But the second I crack his bicep, I won't do it too hard. The second I hit him in the bicep with it, see how that's already kind of breaking the shoulder position? I'm doing it very light. And then I grind it. Now I'm taking this elbow and I'm placing it to my body. If I leave the space.
Can I say something? Please do it right. Even if when I let go and he changes something, it's gonna pop out here and crank my bone. That's it.
I'm doing this about 5%. If I really come under and see how I'm coming under here? I'm keeping the compression. He's gonna tap.
So you know, it's a tap, isn't it? I tried to slap him.
So what I'm doing there is I'm rolling it. I'm taking my arm over and under. I do this on people's necks too, and I just compress. It puts an immense amount of pressure. What I want is the elbow touching my body. Once that happens, it's mine. Yeah. It's my arm. And I would just grind him down into the ground. He'll follow.
Yep, it's gonna be done. And I'll tell you one thing, this is something, an intimidation position, because if I do this to someone, I would do only this to someone who's my size or shorter.
Yeah.
So, and I was not considering just right away to punch him, but just to intimidate him, to push him a little bit. But if this comes in, I'm done anyway.
I'm just doing it enough so that I can drive this to the groin or whatever it is, hit you with it, and then bring it over top. I just need that 1 second where this is now mine. Here. Now look, your arm kind of came out a little bit. That would be fine too.
But it hurts.
It's still going to take you down here. But even if somehow this came out all the way to here, I drive around the back. Sorry.
Yep. So, that's the next what if. That's the next what if. So, what if you're standing here and the guy went into that?
Like a bear hug or
underhook or...
Yeah.
Okay. So the point is, we are here. I'm like, okay, let's go. Because no one is so well trained, and it's not a tournament where you go for a specific technique. You take what you get.
Okay, now the first thing I want to do is just like any good wrestling, I want to use my hip. So I can have, if I just stay upright, you're going to take me down, exactly. Hold on, I stepped on a rock. So I want to bump with my hip and kind of drive back. Now the next thing I'm going to do is take this. I can't see where his groin is. It's going to be hard to hit with any real power.
This hurts.
But what I'm going to do is as I have my hip a little bit back and I'm able to defend for a second, I really only need that second. I'm putting it on your ribs, coming around and driving. I'm trying to place it on the floating rib, and I just crank.
And I tell you, someone who is going to take him down, you don't let go until you feel the pain.
Even
If I'm here and you start to prepare this, yeah.
yeah, I'm not doing it hard. Even if you want me to crank a little harder. Or
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
It's crazy. Especially as you get like
It's
in
done.
here.
It's done. It's done.
People don't even realize. I always say this. I can tap people out just with a gable grip using the knife of my arm. If I grind up, I find the floating rib and I compress.
Even if I try to, you're not even able to go down.
It's just having good
Because
compression.
people think when you do this, they can go down. No, it's even worse. It's even worse.
The reason a lot of wrestlers don't tap, number one, they're crazy condition and there's so much movement and they're driving so hard, but the way you can tap people is bone in the rib. So if I just use the flat of my arm, this isn't hurting as much, right? Right? You can tolerate
A
it.
little bit, yes, here.
Now if I do this, you feel that grind?
Yeah.
Yeah, it changes everything. It's just taking the knife. See, sometimes I'll do that.
Yeah.
I'll take the tip of my finger, place it in, and just drive. And it's definitely good enough to get a reaction, but with this over here, this is just crazy.
Yeah.
It's very, very painful on the ribs.
So the next what if would be if I would try to grab it.
Okay. The second your attention goes to this, my attention is going to hitting your neck, headbutting. I'm trying to just do other things that have nothing to do with
Yep.
this. Because I still have a grip on this. Right? If you overcommit yourself to this, and you see where your foot is, yeah, as long as I can just hold on to it and be headbutting you and hitting you, it's out of play. Right? Rake your ear. If it's a self-defense situation, I'm gonna rake the eyes. I'm gonna, you know what I mean? I'm still controlling it enough, but his attention went to the weapon entirely that he forgot that I still have hands and legs. So I'm gonna attack, rake, hit, and once he loosens up, I'm gonna try and use that own weapon against him. Keep hitting him here, keep controlling him. And if I can get under, if this was even a little bit longer, but here it's not, I can use my fist, my hand. But if it was longer, I can treat it like this and just start compressing him. But his own hand now is defending him. So overcommitment, you see this a lot with knives, for example. People become so obsessed with this and the person still has control of, like, so now I can't really control the weapon, and then he's just hitting me in the face, loosening me up. Now the knife is stabbing me, now I'm losing. That's why I always say with any weapon, when you defend, distract. In other words, I'd be way more scared if one hand went here into my eyes as you grab the weapon.
Yep.
I'd probably just lose the weapon, and now I'd be screwed. I'd have to hope I can fight.
But this is something I would tell you guys. This, I think, is someone who's very skilled in street fighting experience, or a very skilled fighter who is doing something like this, because to consider you as a harsh contender who's using something like this, I think you have to be very experienced, sneaky.
It's a very
What's your
sneaky-
opinion about that?
I don't think the average person is going to think, let me gouge him or distract before taking the weapon. They'll see the weapon, they'll commit to it as the guy's now heading, doing everything. I won't release the weapon. In other words, if you go to grab it, it's not like I'm going to go like this. I'm still holding the weapon enough to control it. In fact, I could just place my body here, right? But now I still have all these attacks, but he's not getting the weapon. So I can use other parts of my body to maintain control without overcommitting. In other words, two hands on the weapon for you and two hands on the weapon for me is a battle of strength.
Yep.
One hand on the weapon, just enough to stop you from taking it, while raking, cutting, placing my body, right? Now stepping in, hitting, driving down. Now I have the weapon again, back of your neck, boom, smashing you, whatever it may be. I was multifaceted in my approach.
Yep. I like this. I really like this. And a last one, what if?
Sure.
Good. So from here, an immediate bear hug, because I want to
okay.
immobilize his weapon.
Okay, so now my arm is stuck. So the first reaction here is drop my base and extend, and I'll show it first with him bear hugging and then without. And hopefully the mic doesn't go flying off, but I'm going to drop my base and flare a little bit. You see how that brought me under? Mm-hmm. And again, it's the same principle here. I'll show a different angle that I would take personally, because you're gonna keep fighting here to get those arms reconnected. I'm just keeping this extended. So long as this is extended, try and regain your bear hug. You can't.
No, I have to go for a headlock.
Yeah, and I could be headbutting here.
Yeah.
Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna shoot this just to here, slide, control, and bring it down. Okay, I'm gonna treat it like an underhook. So the first most important thing is this. Even without this, even if he grabs me from the back, so if I hug my shoulders and drop, the mic's gonna, but you see there is no bear hug here.
And can you please tell the audience if I'm really holding?
You're holding very hard. And it's the same concept from the front. If I'm here and I'm stuck, as long as I drop my base and hike my shoulders and flare my arms, and now I have this as a post, you're not. You're gonna keep fighting for it. And I'm just gonna take this, drive him down. The mic went off.
Got it.
So it's flying everywhere.
Then I have one more what if.
Okay.
So we have to get back in this bear hug position here.
Okay.
And you open up. And if I go immediately now for a headlock.
Okay. Well, this is my favorite with it. Number one, I have to be very careful here because if you drive me into the ground, this is bad.
Yep.
Right? So, step number one, you grab the bear hug, however you want to do it.
We were here.
Yeah.
And you open up, and I'm going for this.
Okay, and I don't have enough time to sneak out the back, which is my
Yes.
go-to. If I can right away, this is right here, but I'm also able to drive again for a double. Sorry, you're right.
Yeah. Why I'm laughing? So we're a little bit crazy. When both of us feel that something is very efficient, it's gonna break something or gonna injure you very hard, we start to laugh.
Yeah.
This was exactly.
Well, because I didn't do it like a double leg.
Yeah.
I placed it. There's a little cartilage here.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I know because I've pretty much torn all the cartilage in my knee. So when I drive, you see
Yep.
how that breaks? In other words, if he's strong and he's flaring out his legs, and I just come behind, don't let me take you down.
Yeah.
Sprawl out a little bit.
Yeah.
See here, it's strong. If I rotate to that cartilage, you see how he's going down?
And it hurts. So I think worse than going down is the crank here or the injury.
Yeah, it's the pain. And keep in mind, there's always the hits.
Yep.
In other words, the moment you grab my head, this is already smashing the knee as
Yeah.
this comes around, or it's coming to the rib cage like
Yeah.
before, or like
Yes.
and that would be in the groin. I'm being nice. I'm
Yep.
lifting from its thigh. That's like
Yeah.
an old Greco. And even if we do end up on the ground, where you get the headlock,
Yep.
I still have this
Yep.
leverage to take you. Because once that's on your ribs,
Yeah, it's done.
Like,
It's
do it
done.
to me
You
here.
cannot resist.
by the way, good note, if I'm close together with my hands, no good leverage. The more I extend out. So
Both hurts, but one hurts faster, sooner, and more.
yeah, I want space.
Yep.
Versus being here.
Yeah.
You could feel you're strong. Now if I start spacing it out, yeah. You want to do it on me so I can feel it?
Yeah. So close.
Yep. Oh yeah. Feels like your ribs are gonna break.
Yeah.
Sucks.
I think they're gonna break. So yeah, I think it was very
There we go.
interesting. Very interesting because I think there's no much more we can show. All these, I think the main what ifs are covered.
Well, what I like about this kind of training is it's not planned and you're discovering. Now, if I wasn't injured, we didn't have the mics on, we would do this at a much higher pace and see the kind of reactions we would have.
I realized something very important I need to address. So what a lot of you guys maybe didn't pay attention to or didn't recognize is that Elon, the moment I closed in a little bit, he changed his body position and he was doing it mutually. So with this body position, slightly blading in and having this weapon way far away from me that I was expecting to be, he only gives me a specific amount of attacks I can only do. Because I still have the goal to avoid this or to grab this or to immobilize this. So I'm not going for the stick now. I have to somehow violate this position of your body. And this is something I realized when we went on practicing why I just attacked you this way, why I never went for the weapon.
Yeah, because with the second I stood like this for you,
Yeah.
you were just like, knock it out the way and punch me in the face. You know what I realized also? This is a big thing from firearm training and weapon retention. Because if this is I kind of instinctively am treating it like a firearm, like it's by my hip, I'm throwing it from my hip, just like I would if I was, and my firearm at this range will never be where you can grab it. I actually want to have that range.
Okay.
So if you were to attack, this is what I want held if I'm pulling out my gun.
Yeah.
Right? I don't want a position where I'm dealing with,
Yeah.
and you're just, this is much worse for me than being here. I'm drawing, you come in and tie me up. This is what's getting tied up, but this is still a free hand here that I can, right? I can still find my opening here if I need, or if it's a knife, I can still find my opening, right? Stab. So it's the same concept for me as if instinctively, if I'm here at close range, the weapon is accessible. The only time I will stand with the weapon in front is at long range, because now I'm trying to optimize, bam, like I said, my distance, as opposed to feel the difference here. If you come at me, you can get way closer. But the second you are this close to me, I'm already trying to keep it here.
Yep.
So that I can, you know, sneak it in, whatever it is, bam. Like I said, I'm trying not to hit you with it because it just hurts, but like the knees, whatever that, and then regain range as fast as I can, treat it like a battering ram.
So, but this is so important, so precious, that you see the slight change of the angle of the body position takes away my first purpose to go for the stick, just to attack him. And it's only an amount of attacks you're giving me opportunities to.
Do you want to do it into the camera so people can see, like the way you did it when?
Look, from here to here. And even I have my hand here, like talking hands, because you're not going for the stick now.
No, and even if I were to try and do something, let's say we're sideways here, even if I were to try and like knock this down, that's already coming into play, and that's a much worse thing to get hit with.
And I'm doing exactly what Elon was showing all the time. Just this, and that's easy to execute.
Yeah.
That's easy to execute.
Even the threat of it, even just once it becomes lifted and hits you, it doesn't even have to cause that much damage for someone to go, oh shit, there's something else at play here.
So I think what is very important to see the techniques, the follow-ups, the efficiency, but from my opinion, what we addressed now, and you explained very well, that to see how to maintain your position to give a specific amount of attacks, you allow the other one to start. But he's doing it mutually. You see, he's a professional. That's the difference.
Thanks.
Inside Fighting, Ilan Surulovic.
Milos Drakulic, my VLMA.